I'd show you how I'm practicing the Schubert Impromptu Opus 90 number 3 to repair it, make it sound even and smooth. And I'm using Newton's law, third law in physics. If you study the law, it says for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. So if you take a ball and you drop it on the floor, on the ground, you don't push it, just drop it. It accelerates, and when it meets the ground forces the ball back up with the same amount of energy that the ball entered the ground with. So that's an acceleration, force is mass times acceleration. And when it rebounds with the same amount of energy as you gave it in the first place by gravity dropping and accelerating it. And it has a mass. So it's the same with each finger when you're in the piano. You can think for each of those accompaniment notes of a weight actually dropping. It can be very little weight if you want it very light, just drop a little weight. But when you think that the key is going to push back with the same amount of energy as you dropped in, then each note is going to sound clear, and you can hang on to it for the full length of that note, and then there'll be no missing of notes. So it's a good way to practice because it reinforces in your mind the sequence of notes that is correct, and the dynamics, and the voicing, and the color, and no forcing of tone. So just being sure that you count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 for every set of 3 notes, and then you're going to hear it. You're going to hear it that the fingers are following that count. You've got to see to it that they do. And then it's going to be even and steady and clear and balanced. The voices are going to be balanced. So just be aware that that first note in the melody, you're sitting tall, arms are relaxed like wet ropes, and the water is dripping out of the tips. And you lift your arms up over, you can set your elbows in the keys, and lift your feet up and down. You'll feel a full body weight in the key bed. Then think of releasing on the way up and diving slowly through. And when you go out, let the wrist come down a little bit as the fingers go out over the keys. And then play down from the main arch gently without tightening in your hand at all. And just get that beautiful, warm, tender sound, because it's a slow drop all the way through to the floor. But it's an energy that's dropping into the key, and the key has to push back. But what it's doing, because you go in and there's a lever, it's a teeter-totter. At the other end of the teeter-totter is a whipping that pushes up on a hammer shank, and then the knuckle, and pushes that up into the wire. So it's a sequence of forces that are happening, a sequence of actions and reactions for each note. So if you can get that tender melody note singing, if you want a little more, put a little snap to it. Just everyone is a drop. Drop, 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 drop. And the key is pushing back at you. Then you can go as light as you want because you're not afraid. You know that where the energy is going for each finger. So make it a challenge to be able to go through the whole piece like that. And I think you'll find it very rewarding. There's no pressure, except you have to listen to every note that you produce, because you don't want to hit the keys and force the hammer up into the wire and create cacophony, no wave. You want to create a wave of energy. And so when you drop, and then there's the rebound of the hammer going up into the wire, and then the wire pushing back at it and starting the wire into vibration, and then the air over to the listener, you get the overtones and you get the color. And that's what you're really working for with every note you play in this. But you have to have the balance, so that inner voice has to be almost inaudible, it's so quiet. But each finger can be a drop, as long as you're aware it's a light drop, and you're dropping that it can push back at you just that little bit, then you're not afraid of it. And it's a slow motion action that has to all happen. And the tone will be beautiful from it, and the balance of the hands. So I just wanted to put that out for you to try in your practicing and see how advantageous it is to use that Newton's third law and understand for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction, and it really applies. When they show a video of Rubinstein playing in a big, huge piano concerto, when he wants a huge volume, he lifts from way up because he knows he's got more time to accelerate, 32 feet per second, faster, 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 for a bigger force. But that force isn't to push into the keys, it's because the key pushes back at him and gets him up over the next. But it not only pushes him back up, the energy goes into the hammer, into the piano wire, and then that vibration goes out to the listener's ear. So it's a sequence, and when you can get the correct sequence, one note after another, and then make the line go somewhere from the way you sing it and the way you feel it, and music is all about feeling, then as long as you make the fingers, the notes and the fingers follow your count, and you can go as slow as you want. I can go one, see, that's got to be tender, so don't get tight in your hand or your wrist. Leave it relaxed, but slowly down all the way to the floor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just the fact that I know that when I drop into those light notes, the key is pushing back at me that little wee bit. And some of the energy is going into the light hammer to make it float. Just the knowledge of that gives you a great deal of security in playing the piece. I did my take one on it last night on this piece, and of course I'm missing half the notes because the action is very poorly regulated. I'm ordering all new weapons, all new hammers, and hopefully I can make it play properly again. But so it's not really possible to, but in slow you can make it that you hear every note, even with it the way it is here. So just even without the melody, just da, 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 drop, 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 rebound, drop, rebound, drop, rebound. Like that. It's a fun way to practice. It makes you listen. So I hope you got something out of this, and you can apply it to other pieces as well. Have a good night now. Bye-bye.